Good morning, Karen.
Morning, Joe.
You ready to do this?
I am. Let's go.
Let's do this. Woo! Yeah. Good morning, Ray. You're holding the door for us. Thank you.
Hey, Ray.
Let's get the show started.
Let's go. Give us a classroom map. It would look something similar to this.
You have several views you can do.
Hi, I'm Karen.
And I'm Joe.
And welcome to
What's Happening?
Today, Joe was actually going to share an app with you called Educreations. I know that it happens to be one of his faves, right? His favorite app. But what we're going to do is we're going to actually be kind of picking up from where we left off with two other episodes, one with Hello Crayon to draw your own characters, and then the second one, Background Eraser, to erase the white background so that you can use Educreations as a digital storytelling tool. And so I'm going to actually toss it over to Joe so he can show you how you can get that done.
Thank you, Karen. Now that my lovely partner has introduced me, I'm going to show you Educreations, okay? And this is a cool app. This happens to be one of my favorite apps because I'm into simplicity, easy to integrate, easy, right? And it's super easy. So I'm gonna go and dive into Educreations, right? And so I'm gonna go and swipe on my iPad, and of course I have so many apps. I have a gazillion apps. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on Educreations and go right to it. And there I go. And of course, when you go to Educreations, it looks like a interactive whiteboard, right? But that's not the thing I'm going to show you today. I'm going to show you how you can use this to create stories. And I'm going to combine what Karen has already shared with you on how to draw your own images with what's it called again, Karen?
Hello Crayon.
Hello Crayon. And then also we're going to use, what's the other one called too as well?
Background Eraser.
Background Eraser. So I'm going to show you, I'm not going to show you how to use those apps, but I'm going to show you how you can use what you've done with those apps and bring it over to the Educreations. Is that cool? Well, too bad. I'm going to show you anyway. Okay, so on Educreations, right? I'm going to start with my images. And when you start bringing images in here to create your own story, the one icon that's really important is up here, the Insert Images button, and you have all these choices. You have Camera, Photos, Dropbox, and Web, whatever. So camera is if in case you wanted to use the camera to take snapshots of what you already have. So you could have stuff like this that the kids have drawn, right? Drawn stuff and everything. You can capture them and bring them in. So you can actually have them do their own drawings, their own written work, and bring it in, their own writing projects. But I'm going to go back to this image in just a bit. And if you go to Photos, you've already saved them onto your iPad, so that brings them in here. And I'm going to skip Dropbox because not everyone has Dropbox. But that's really cool if you have Dropbox, okay? And then the last one is Web. And Web helps you find images quickly on the drop. But the only problem with when you use Web, they made them really kiddie friendly. So if you're looking for a Mount Rushmore as a nice background image, the actual Mount Rushmore image, you probably get cartoon renditions of it, not the real Mount Rushmore. So it's probably better if you go to Safari and do your downloading there. ¿Está bueno? Okay. So I'm not going to go over the downloading, but I already downloaded some stuff already. So when I go to my photos, these are things that I've already downloaded. So I go to my camera roll, and notice these are images that I downloaded from the web, right? You see all my images are downloaded. So before I even start my story, right, I have my images. And so my very first image is now one of these, okay? So I'm going to go in and get out of here so I can show you what I'm talking about. So in here, I can write and say a story of a pumpkin. I'm using my fingers, but if I want to be a little more neat, a lot neater than this, I can go ahead and erase this, clear ink, and I can insert a text box and just type it out, right? A story of a pumpkin. And so I'm going to go ahead, and that's kind of, it looks good, semi, whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and move it a little bit down here, double tap on it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it more Halloweenish, right? So I made it orangey. A story of a pumpkin, yay! So that's my first slide, right? My first slide. So if I want another slide on the bottom right, I click on the next arrow, and I hit it. Now I have a new slide. I can start bringing in stuff for my story, right? So here I bring in my first background. So I go to Photos, And I've already downloaded this image from the web, or I could have taken a picture of it. I already have it. So I can bring this one in, right? So I'm bringing in my background image. And so I have my first image there. So this is my background. I don't want it to wiggle anymore. So I tap on it, and I can lock it in place. See that little lock button? So I click on lock. So now at this point, it won't move. Pretty cool? All right. So then I can bring in more images. And one thing, I'm going to bring an image, right? And I'm going to bring an image that Karen has created, right? So I'm going to go to Photos. And she created this cute little image of this little frog, right? So
What a lovely frog.
Yeah, see, look at this. Karen the artist, right? So I'm going to minimize it a little bit. So here's my little frog. And that's my first scene, right, with characters and frogs. So then I move to the next image. Now I'm going to change backgrounds, right? I'm going to change backgrounds. So I go to my Photos, and I have another background. 2 to the 2. 2 to the 2, okay? And so here, I'm going to bring in this image because it's a little more like, ay, qué triste, right? And so this is what I'm going to do. This is my story about my pumpkins, right? And so I have my background, tap on it, I lock it in place, right? And this time, I'm going to bring in my images, right? I'm going to bring in my little froggy, right? My little froggy. So I bring in my little froggy. Bring my little froggy. And he's still there, right? My little froggy. And so I'm going to show you what I'm going to be doing with this, okay? Right now it doesn't make any sense, but I'm setting the stage for my story. So I have my image here, okay? So one thing I want to share with you real quick. I'm going to leave Educreations, okay? I'm going to leave Educreations real quick. And I'm going to go to my camera roll, just show you something real quick. And notice, I just want to show you something that I did, okay? With Karen's help, she used that background eraser. And look at this. You see that? You guys recognize these? These are the ones I got from a picture. I took a picture of these bubbles, right, that I made. So kids can make these bubbles themselves. Take a snapshot and use that app that, what was it again, Karen?
Background eraser.
Background eraser, right? And you erase the backgrounds. And so you have these images you can bring into your story. See that? So then I go back to my Educreations, right? So you guys are like, what is Joe talking about? Well, I'm going to show you. So then I have my little story. I'm going to start here, right? And so I'm not going to do a full story, but I'm going to show you just the beginning of the story, how cool this works, right? So I go back to my beginning, right? And here, I start my story, right? And when I start recording, I can pause at any time so it flows. Okay, so it flows nice. So I'm going to hit record, right? A Story of a Pumpkin by Joe Mesa. Notice I paused there, right? So it gives me time to go to the next page and start resuming my story. So here I'm going to resume with my little froggy. Ribbit, 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 oh, I love to bounce on a pumpkin patch. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. Stop. I stop here. I go to my next page. And then I have my froggy here, right? Wow, what happened to this pumpkin patch? It looks kind of sad. Pause. And then I'll bring in my other pumpkin, right? Go to drop my Photos, camera roll, and I'm going to bring my other pumpkin. And I'm going to bring an actual pumpkin that I actually, not that one. Notice that one's not so good because it has got that white background, right? No es bueno. So I'm going to get another one. And I think I have this one. This is nice. No, not that one either. Sorry. So I'll bring it again. Not that one either. See, I'm just clicking like I needed my medication this morning. So I'm going to go with this one. Tampoco. Look at this. So many mistakes. But I'm going to get it. Trust me. I'm going to get it. So here we go. So I got my pumpkin, right? I'm going to minimize and put them over here. And so I resume now. I resume the conversation here, right? So I have my pumpkin, make them a little bigger. And so here, look at this. This is where we can include writing and reading into this. So I start recording. Boo-hoo-hoo, boo-hoo-hoo. Pause, right? I paused. And look at this. Now I can bring my bubbles in, right? Bring in my bubble, my first bubble, right? And it's this one. Bring it in there. And here we go. I start recording. Why are you so sad, Mr. Pumpkin? Then I paused it, right? I can remove this now, this bubble, delete it, bring in my new bubble, photos, bring it in, and look at this. Bring in my bubble, make it a little bit bigger so you can really see it. And I start recording. I am worried about what is going to happen to me. So right here, I'm not going to continue with the story, right? I'm going to leave it up to you guys to continue with the story. But this is how we can get it started, right? So when I'm finished with my story, right? Once I hit the done button, it's done. Okay, I'm going to hit done. Done. Save lesson. And we'll call this one pumpkin. Pumpkin. Right? Next. And so here's really important too, in the sense that if you want to share this with the rest of the world, you want to embed it into your website, to your Weebly, to your Google sites, or whatever it is you want to publish, you got to make sure it's public, okay? If you make it private or any of the other three, it won't be publicized beyond your classroom. So I recommend public. And of course, this is language arts. And I'm going to leave it as ESL, but I could change it to any subject I wanted to, okay? But I'm going to leave it as that. I'm going to leave it as that. And I'm going to save it, okay? So now it's saved, right? And I'm going to let my story, come on, go away. So now I want to replay this story. I go to it, right? And I'm going to play it so you guys can see. A Story of a Pumpkin by Joe Mesa. Ribbit, 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 oh, I love to bounce on a pumpkin patch. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. Wow, what happened to this pumpkin patch? It looks kind of sad. Boo-hoo-hoo, boo-hoo-hoo. Why are you so sad, Mr. Pumpkin? I am worried about what is going to happen to me. You notice there how cool it just flows? You pause and you bring your pictures, you pause and you bring your pictures, and it just flows, and you have a nice little story you can share with the rest of the world in the class. This could be for like retelling a story. It could be a book review. It could be a, what's called, what we're doing in libraries with the book trailers.
Oh, book trailers?
So you can do all kinds of cool stuff with these things. But look at this. When you finish with your video, if you look at your screen, you can share your story on Facebook, Twitter, email, or copy the lesson link. And even if you lose that button there, if you notice on the upper right-hand corner, you have all your different buttons. And if I hit it on the copy link, you actually have copy lesson link and copy and embed code. And this way you can embed it into your website. And as soon as you finish a project on your Educreations on your iPad, it's automatically available on your computer. So it's really cool. And so this pretty much concludes Educreations. Have I missed anything, Miss Karen?
No, I was just thinking, it gave me a great idea, like just bringing in your thought bubbles about bringing some of the comic book film strips that we make to life, because you could, create those boom, smash, those sounds with some of the paper and just really get creative. So awesome ideas I just gained from you.
So with Educreations, this concludes it, but the possibilities are endless. You can do all kinds of stuff. It's just all based on your imagination, and I hope you have great imagination. If not, borrow your kids. They have great imagination. And this is it. And by the way, follow us on YouTube. We do have a YouTube link and a Facebook link, and follow us, and we'll share so much more with you all. Thank you very much.
Classroom map. It would look something similar to this.
Yes, several pieces of